I'm Kevin Elizabeth, a wedding photographer based in San Diego, and today's video is going to be all about how you can be an awesome bride or groom that all of your vendors love. I'm going to admit that this was a video idea that I did not think that many people would actually be interested in, because there's always people online who are a little bit more, I guess, anti-vendor. I see people on different forums online and they're always just thinking of vendors as just a service for hire and not necessarily as a human being. So I was a little bit skeptical that people would actually like this idea, but when I put this idea out there on the community post the other day, you guys really wanted to hear all about it. So I decided to do it. And the one thing I want to stress is that I'm going to be reading a bunch of different things that you can do that would make your vendors love you. But if you are not doing one of these things, or if you've kind of messed up on one of these things in the past, that does not mean that your vendors aren't going to love you. This is just simply a list of a bunch of different things. Doesn't mean you have to do all of them, but just examples of things that really make at least me love working with a bride and groom. And the reason that that's great for the couple is because it creates a better rapport. So we click better, we just get along better. Not that I've never not gotten along with my clients, but it's more like a friendship rather than just a service for hire type relationship. So that puts the couple more at ease on the wedding day. It makes me have a better time, puts me more at ease because I feel a lot more comfortable with the clients. And because I love them so much, especially the people who really do things that make me love them, I'm usually going to go a little bit above and beyond rather than just what they paid for. So I might come earlier to the wedding and spend more time styling their details on my own dime. Maybe your florist who loves you would give you a couple little extra flowers in your arrangements. I don't know. Or maybe it'll just be an amazing experience for everybody. But it's really great for you to go into the wedding day with all of your vendors and you on a really great page, because it just creates this very exciting atmosphere. Now on the flip side, whenever there have been controlling or demanding or I don't know, just clients that aren't that enjoyable to work with, which for me is really rare. That doesn't happen often for me, which is great. But for those clients, for vendors in general, they're just going to give exactly what they paid for, and the couple's going to leave a bad taste in everyone's mouths. They're not going to want to work with them again in the future. Like if I ever had a really bad client who was just really difficult or made things really unpleasant for me, if they ever reached back out to me to shoot their maternity photos or their family photos, which is something that I usually only do for past brides and grooms, I probably would not take on the job, if I'm going to be honest, because I like to fill my life with positive, pleasant people, and that includes the weddings that I shoot. Now, I'm going to be making a really fun announcement in the next couple of weeks about a new thing that I'm doing in my life and my business, and because of that, I'm actually limiting my weddings even more. So for 2020, I'm only taking on 10 weddings. That's about half of what I normally do, and I'm actually really excited for that because I get to make sure that the clients that I do take on and that I do accept are an even better fit for my business, and that they are going to be clients that I love. So if you're wondering what makes a vendor really love a bride and groom, here are the top things that I think make that happen. The first one is to always be kind, sweet, nice, friendly, and just generally nice to be around. That's a huge thing, not just for being a bride and groom, but for being a human being in life. The more likable and friendly and warm and kind and considerate you are, the more people are going to really enjoy being around you. That's an inarguable fact. I don't know anybody who likes being around people who are not very nice, but just be nice. That's really the foundational thing of making a vendor love you, is just to be really kind to them and to everybody. Be kind to your friends and family. I've had vendors who have told me stories about brides and grooms who were just not super nice to their friends and family, and even though they were fine with the vendors, it just created this weird atmosphere to be around, and nobody wants to be around somebody yelling at other people. So that's just a little side note to this. Now the next one is to always be open to your vendors' advice and suggestions and listen to maybe why they are giving that advice to you. So if I tell a couple, hey, I really think that you guys should consider a first look since you are on the fence about it, because the timing is just not going to be so great if we don't do it. You're not going to have but 45 minutes of light for all of your portraits, and that's just not enough. And I really admire when couples actually take the time to listen to the why behind my reasons, because my job is to educate my clients. So even if it's something that they don't end up taking my advice on, at least they know what's going to happen if they don't, and they're okay with that. So I love when people are open to my suggestions, and then if they decide to go a different route, they at least listen to what I've told them, and so that way they are knowing exactly what to expect for the wedding day, and that sets everybody up for success. So always be open, even if you don't end up following their advice, at least listen to it and hear what they're saying to you, because they've done this so many times and they really appreciate couples who listen to them. Now the next one is to always trust your vendors. So this sort of goes hand in hand with being open to their advice, but trust that the vendors that you hire know how to do their jobs really well, probably better than you know how to do their jobs. So this is a huge thing. Trust is a very vital component to the success of my photography work. If my couple doesn't trust me, which pretty much never happens these days, which is great, it just creates this strange environment where they might be hesitant to do something that I think is going to be really beautiful. They don't trust that I have a vision in mind. Maybe I'm putting them in a spot and they see the surroundings and the surroundings aren't great, but I see one little sliver of just beautiful backdrops and lighting. So it's that sort of thing where if you just trust your vendors and listen to them and believe that they know what they're doing, you are going to make them so happy, because they're not going to always be hindered in their job that they can do. They want to do the best possible job for their couples, so amazing couples are the ones that really trust the vendors. Now, this next one is a little bit more logistical, and that is to always try your best to be on time. Now, I know sometimes little things can happen. You might be a few minutes late to a meeting because of something, but at least try consistently to be on time. It's not going to make us not like you if you're late to one thing, but if you're consistently late to meetings, late to your photo sessions, you're late getting paperwork back to us, like the contract or the invoice, you're late getting questionnaires back to us, and you just take really, really long time past the deadlines that we set for things, it's going to be really stressful for us. You know, we don't want to have to track people down and remind them 7 times to get vital information to us. And it's just nice when you show up on time to meetings, because sometimes we have meetings scheduled after or other appointments, and if you're late, it makes your meeting get cut short, and we can't usually be late to our next thing. So we really love couples who respect our time and also just know that being on time is a really helpful thing. A lot of us are super busy. We can't really afford to be losing out on time. I know for me, I really appreciate when my couples get questionnaires back to me really quickly, because I am usually working on several weddings at once, and if one person's late, it just throws a wrench in my workload, and I can't work with the planner on the timeline if I don't have the information, and it really just sets off this whole chain of events. So I really love my couples who are really quick, they're on time, and again, if somebody is late for one thing, it's not a big deal, but if people are consistently late for meetings or consistently late to send emails and like paperwork back to me, then that is definitely something that I don't love so much. I might still like the couple, but it's one of those things that creates more stress in a vendor's life, which we don't need any more of. This next one is more so for photographers and maybe planners. We really appreciate when a couple is really organized. So on the wedding day when I show up, and I've told my couples this in advance, I love when they have all of their details ready together. So their jewelry, their invitations, all of the things that I'm going to be photographing, I love when they have it ready to go and I can just start shooting. When I show up to a wedding and they're like, oh, it's all over the place, I didn't get it ready, and it just wastes a lot of photo time, which is not great for the couple. So this is one of those things where you're being organized and especially on time, and we love you for that, but it also is really great for you, because if you're not organized, it might slow down the vendor and you might not get everything that you were initially wanting to get because so much time was lost. For photography, I love weddings where I show up and my couple has listened to me and they have prepared their bridal party and their family to listen up to me, be positive, be on time, and not wander off when it's time for group portraits. The amount of weddings that I have photographed where people are late or they're not listening, they're rowdy, they're not paying attention, that is so stressful for me because I only have so much time, and even though I've put in padding, sometimes groups of people are just so chaotic and they don't pay attention, that we lose 10 to 20, maybe even 30 minutes of photo time because they're not listening. I have to keep getting their attention, and that's not fun for anybody. I don't want to have to use my super, super assertive, aggressive voice. I have had to use it before. I don't like doing that. I love the couples who have prepared their bridal party and the party is like almost silent when I'm shooting them because they're listening and they're paying such good attention. And when that happens, we get to get those pictures done so much sooner, or we have more time to do more fun shots and do all kinds of different types of group photos, which is really great for the couple. Or if the couple is good with the group photos, we might be able to spend more time going back to bride and groom photos. And so that's something that is really nice. So I totally love those couples who have spoken with their bridal party and family ahead of time and said, hey, be here at this time, don't leave until the photographer tells you you can leave, and listen to her or him and pay attention. That is just the best thing that a couple can do for me on the wedding day. Now, this one is a little bit silly, but if you offer us cake at the reception, we're gonna love you. So normally we will get fed a vendor meal. It's usually a hot meal, which is great. Nobody really likes to eat a box sandwich after 8 hours plus of working on their feet. It's so nice to have a hot meal to recharge and regroup. I really appreciate that, and I know so many vendors do. So please make sure that you are feeding your vendors, and if you do have the option to do a hot meal, it is so greatly appreciated because it just recharges us and it gets us reinvigorated for the rest of the night because we've been on our feet all day carrying heavy stuff, being turned on all day in the sense that we have to really put up our excited personalities. And for me as an introvert, that is very draining sometimes, so I appreciate the break to eat a hot meal. But if you do offer us cake, we will especially love you. I'm never going to get myself a slice of cake unless the couple explicitly tells me to, because it's not really part of the vendor meal. But if they tell me, hey, go grab a piece of cake or a donut or whatever, I'm like, I love you so much and I'm definitely gonna go do that. So this is not one of those things that you need to do. None of these things you really need to do, maybe except for being kind and courteous. But if you tell me I can have a piece of cake, I'm gonna absolutely love you for it. And the last one is to write your vendors a thank you note and leave them a review. This, even though it's after the wedding, is just going to make them remember you in such a great light. Maybe in the future, you know, when you want to have them shoot other events or have them plan parties for you or do other things, they're gonna be so excited to do it. They know you're an awesome client. They're gonna go extra above and beyond for you, and they're just gonna generally appreciate you so much. And at least for me, being appreciated from our own wedding day by the vendors was such a nice feeling. Even the vendors who didn't necessarily do extra, which we weren't expecting, just being appreciated was so nice, and it made me feel like I made their day so pleasant and so exciting, and we gave them beautiful things to show off in their portfolio. That was really nice for me. I just like making sure that everybody is happy with the things that I do. So at the bottom line, that's one of those things where I wanted to make sure that David and I were an awesome couple to work with, because we wanted all of our vendors to be happy, not just because I'm in the industry and I have to see these people over and over again, but because I wanted to make sure that it was a wedding that was really fun and memorable for them and that they really enjoyed working with us. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, you don't have to do all of these things to be an awesome couple. If you do all these things, you are probably going to be their favorite couple of all time. Not even joking, especially if you offer them cake. But this is just something that I thought would be nice to know, because at least for me, when I have a couple who I especially love, who has gone out of their way to make sure that I'm like having a great experience working with them, which is not something they have to do, but I think it's really kind and sweet, I am going to go above and beyond for them. Maybe if they have a couple blemishes, I am going to edit that out, even though that's not technically included in my typical editing. I'm going to make sure that I am doing above and beyond because I want them to be extra, extra, extra happy, and I feel like they have been so good to me that I don't mind putting in extra time for their job that's outside of what they paid for. And I just really love working with those people, and I think it really makes a fantastic connection. So I hope that you are now inspired to be a super awesome couple, and that you will really get a lot out of it throughout your wedding planning process and the wedding day itself. See you guys next time. Bye!